Clay. You can play in AD's face. You can play in Laterris's face, but you cannot play in mine during Black Ramadan Black Women's Month, okay?
All these diamonds on my body and they crystal clear. I make magic with these hundreds, watch them disappear. Big ol' raindrops up in my ear. If you gon' name drop, let's get it clear. Jessie, VVS, I just turn the water on. Big ol' flex, shit you never saw before. These niggas chasing me like waterfalls.
What's up, guys? It's your sister. Welcome back to my Chanel. If you are new here, make sure that you subscribe and join the Black Women's Tribe. If you are a returning sister, thank you so much. I love y'all. Thank you so much for returning. Make sure that you guys are engaging, that you're liking, that you're sharing, that you're subscribing, that you're leaving a comment. You know, I try my best to engage with you guys in the comments from time to time. All right, before we get into this video, just a couple things. Not a little plug, but just a couple things. I have started a membership on my channel, and so if you look at next to the subscribe button, there should be a join button. I did give you guys a preview of the first thing that you guys are gonna see, and that is what I call a late night snack. And that is me and Julesy and Justin, aka King of Reads. And I really liked our discussion because Julesy really like schooled me about Black Ramadan month. When I was, you know, introducing this month and Ramadan, I did misuse my words a little bit. Some of you guys were in the comments and like, Jess, thank you so much. You know, thank you so much for speaking on Palestine, and thank you so much for showing us love. But you know, the Nation of Islam and Muslim is two different things. Remember, I was talking about the Sean King Ramadan dinners, and I had the education a little wrong. So here's just a little snippet of Julesy educating me on the matter.
We can still discuss that. We can start there.
She didn't invite me because she don't like fat, dark skinned men. Care to comment?
Not during
Take
Black
the
Women's
wind
Month.
Wait, your video, you were like, yes to all the Islamic people. I'm like, girl, just say Muslim.
Right. No, people when I come, they're like, girl, Islam and Muslim is two different things.
You were like, to the Nation of Islam people. I was like,
Not Farrakhan. Farrakhan, are you with me?
No, literally, people in the comments are like, sister, thank you so much for acknowledging Ramadan, but Muslim and Islam
It's two, in the sense that
I know Jessie knows. I just can tell you, she's tired.
yeah.
You were
Literally,
just tired.
it was a long day after work. I was like, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, literally.
I'm not gonna hold y'all. I look good as fuck. I'm not even gonna hold y'all for real.
Oh, period. You
Yeah.
better feel yourself.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm giving light skinned friend look like Michael Jackson.
What? Wait, hold on. You know what? Since we talking about Ramadan, how do we feel about croissant Louverture going on the little Ramadan dinner?
Talk him X.
Hold on, what happened with that?
Sean King.
He's on a tour collecting Ramadan.
Converting
You
to
know what?
Islam on the first day of Ramadan.
Yup.
My friend,
Mubarak, my friend. How do you say Mubarak? How do you say
Mubarak.
Mubarak?
Mm-hmm. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak, my friend.
I'm not even gonna go. I can't do it. But my friend said that he believes that Sean King did that because he can't. Like the Muslim people are not going to eat him up. They're not going to drag him.
They're busy right now.
They busy. They can't. They can't.
busy.
They can't.
They got Gaza.
So
yeah.
They
But,
said,
okay, but can we segue to the person we were talking about earlier, because we were talking about how some people are revitalizing their platforms by talking about Palestine and the issue in Gaza.
We was talking about that.
Wait, what? So is it Hassa?
Gaza. It's Alif Ba Ta Da Jin Ha. That's why
I didn't know that.
Alphabet. It's so there's no the
You really are like a journalist for real.
Yeah.
Like
she's in the world of
like
journalism.
a journalist. Same shit. A blogger.
I guess I bet you watch Sesame Street.
When I tell you, Juicy is so educated.
She is, child.
I fucking love it.
Okay, but so
thankfully it's not a competition with us because I wouldn't be able to compete with her because my sister got it. She got it. Miss Quad, she got it.
But y'all. But how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like he really?
I think he's a grifter, and it's really shameful. And then you do it at a time where people can't really say anything about you because they are focused on their relationship with Allah and then what's happening in Palestine and the genocide. And so to convert to Islamic
Wait,
and
so
then
did he go to Islam or Muslim?
We going to Islam?
We going to Islam?
well, you convert to Islam because and then you're a Muslim.
Okay. So I was in Rome when I said the Nation of Islam.
No, but
I don't know. I just learned the difference between undergrad and graduate school.
So no, there are different like Christianity. There's different sects.
Pentecostal. Yeah.
You know,
why is there baptism? Is this shown in there?
There's Baptist. There's Pentecostal. There's non-denominational.
Yeah, I know the religion conversation. I checked right on it.
You just ready to.
Okay, so the Nation of Islam. That was Malcolm X and them. That's fair.
Well,
I am Malcolm X.
Yeah, Malcolm X converted to Islam through the Nation of Islam, but he left
and became full Muslim.
Not that none
when he
nigga
was
lie.
full Muslim, he became Sunni. I believe Sunni Muslim.
Okay.
So there's different sects
of
Islam.
Okay.
The popular ones are Sunni, Shiite, and then in the United States is Nation of Islam.
Okay.
But Nation of Islam doesn't necessarily follow the same theology
as Muslim
as like a Sunni Shiite, the other
Oh, girl,
sectors
she know
like
her.
this.
Oh, you.
Yeah. Now I can tell cause what's her name? Remember when Malcolm X was getting his when
Malcolm X was assassinated by the Nation of Islam.
Literally.
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. When he was getting his Ramadan Mubarak.
Okay, Billy Porter. I don't know nothing about
girl,
that.
you're not gonna give me that.
So if you join my membership, you'll be able to see the full discussion. And also I will be putting more late night snacks on there with me and my friends, just having unfiltered conversations. And also I'm going to be putting some more personal stuff on there. I think like my vlogs and stuff, like I'm still going to do vlogs from time to time here, but I have some things that I'm working on, and I think that I want to share them with people who really want to see, because I think it's going to be really, really good. So there's that. So please become a member if you want to see those types of that type of content. I did think about doing Patreon, but I don't know. I really like YouTube, and I kind of just want to see what I can do with YouTube. I kind of just want to keep everything here. I don't like to be like, okay, well, go over here or go over there. Like, I kind of just want to keep everything in a central place. I really, really like the community that I'm building with you guys. So I just want to keep it there, you know? And so I think membership is good. Like, just to have those unfiltered discussions, not for everybody, but I think just, you know, it's safer to say certain things like behind a paywall. And I think people who actually really like get my personality, get my DNA, like you guys will know, like, you know, y'all will enjoy it even more. So there's that on that. All right, second thing, Colombia, Cartagena. I've gotten some of you guys that have signed up, so I'm really, really excited. Please do not wait till the last minute. Go to woocation.net. Please go to woocation.net if you want to join me in Cartagena, Colombia. Don't wait till the last minute. Please, I don't want to have last minute questions and last minute inquiries. So please go to the website, woocation.net. We do have a questions. If you have any questions or concerns, we do have it at the bottom of the page on the homepage. So make sure that you check that out. I look forward to doing this. I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I really want to do several trips this year with y'all. And so, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about just traveling with you guys. And I think it'll be cool just to get to know some of you guys and travel with y'all, have fun, and just let our hair down. And you know what I'm saying? Do some nigga shit in another country, period. All right, y'all, let's get to the nitty gritty of this video. Okay, first things first, the gist of this video is for us to go over this interview that Clay just did on Dear Wifey podcast. I think it is a great interview, but also like it puts things into perspective and it proves that I was freaking right the entire time, and we'll get into that. But before we do, I wanted to talk about this lawsuit between Love is Blind and Renee Poach. So you guys know Renee Poach. I spoke about her briefly. I actually spoke about her lawsuit briefly on my last video when I was addressing Chelsea. Side note, I received a request from Chelsea's camp to take down my video, which I think is very interesting because you started it, I finished it, but now you want to cry and okay. I'll let y'all go in the comments and let me know what you guys think I should do about that. I'd love to hear your perspective. And trust me, I'm keeping it cute with just saying I received a request from her camp to take my video down. Let's get into this lawsuit between Love is Blind and Renee Poach. Okay, so let's get into this update on the lawsuit between Love is Blind, the production company, which is Kinetic, and I believe Delirium, and then Renee Poach. So People Magazine says this: Love is Blind production company wins motion in lawsuit filed by season 5 participant. Season 5 participant Renee Poach sued Netflix and the production company Delirium TV in January, claiming she was forced to participate on the show and move forward in her engagement to ex-fiance Carter Wall. The lawsuit will be heading to arbitration. Okay, so Love is Blind production company Delirium TV scored a legal victory in a lawsuit filed by season 5 participant Renee Poach. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Bruce G. Lewandowski denied a request for Poach and her lawyers, Brian Friedman and Mark Garagas, to avoid arbitration in the lawsuit, according to a press release from the production company. In the ruling, Judge Lewandowski noted Ms. Poach and her lawyers engaged in heated rhetoric but had absolutely no evidence that participating in arbitration as required under Poach's agreement with Delirium would cause her harm, per the press release. Judge Lewandowski also noted the court had grave doubts about Poach's request to avoid arbitration and ruled that she must defend Delirium's claims in the arbitration and, should she choose to continue to pursue them, litigate her claims against Delirium and Netflix in arbitration. Delirium's attorneys, Larry Iser and Alan Sekretov of Kinsella Holy Iser Comp, I don't know who these people is, shared a statement reacting to the ruling. We are very pleased with the results of today's hearing, which confirms that Delirium acted properly in filing its arbitration against Ms. Poach in response to her violations of her confidentiality and publicity obligations, Iser and Sekretov stated. Arbitration is the procedure that is spelled out in the agreement Ms. Poach signed when she applied to participate in Love is Blind. The statement continued, but rather than defend against Delirium's claims in arbitration, Ms. Poach and her lawyers chose to file a headline-grabbing complaint in court against Delirium and Netflix with a morass of arguments challenging the enforceability of the agreement she signed. The statement concluded Ms. Poach and her lawyers twice sought unsuccessfully to enjoin Delirium from pursuing its arbitration against Ms. Poach, and also sought unsuccessfully to enjoin all of Delirium and Netflix's employment and participant agreements. The press release also states that Ms. Poach was asked to stop her unauthorized interviews and promptly mediate the dispute. And she was repeatedly warned by production personnel as well as Delirium's lawyers that her continued breaches of the participant agreement would result in Delirium filing arbitration. In January, Poach sued Netflix and Delirium TV for unlawful employment practices as well as unfair competition and intentional infliction of emotional distress, according to a complaint obtained by People. Poach alleged that Netflix and Delirium TV matched her with her ex, Carter Wall, who the complaint describes as a walking red flag, despite voicing her concerns about Wall's alleged erratic and alarming behavior and emotional instability. Poach claimed Netflix and Delirium enforced her to participate on the show and move forward with her engagement to Wall. After speaking about her time on the show, Delirium TV claimed Poach violated her NDA and sought $4 million. However, Poach believed the NDA is illegal and unenforceable, and she filed the lawsuit in hopes of clearing herself of all forms of liability. So I have a lot of thoughts here. I'm not a lawyer. However, I'm speaking as someone who has done reality television before and also has signed agreements that had arbitration clauses, right? So first of all, I want to say this: Delirium is doing a really good job with this press release and with getting the public to see this as an L. And also what they're doing with this press release is they're reminding past participants, current participants and future participants of what can happen if you don't do what they say to do in your contract, right? So, however, though, I find this judge to be very interesting. I think this judge really isn't considering the other lawsuit that came from season 5 with Tran Dang, who was sexually violated because of delirium and kinetics practices while filming the show. And maybe the judge doesn't have to because those cases are separate. But also, I just would think that with all the claims that Renee brought forward, I would think that he would bypass the arbitration. But then again, here's the thing. When there's an arbitration clause in your contract, that's there to avoid you from suing and being able to litigate without going through arbitration. I remember I was signed to a label and there was an arbitration clause. And for me, what I did was, well, you know what? Like, I was trying to get off the label and I was like, well, you know what? There's this clause, and my lawyer was advising me about the clause, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna post all the receipts that I have. And I started posting all the receipts that I had to socials. And that label let me go. He let me go because my receipts were crazy. And so with Renee, I'm thinking she don't really have the receipts. Delirium and Kinetic, they have the receipts. Love is Blind people, they have the receipts. They have all the footage that she's talking about when it came to Carter being erratic. And they have all those receipts. So she has no receipts. All she has is her word against theirs. So there's that, right? But then also, when these companies, when you're signing up for a reality show and they have the arbitration clause, that's there to discourage you from suing them. And here's how it discourages you from suing them. Arbitration is very expensive. Arbitration can be longer than actually going to court. Okay? So these reality shows, they know exactly what they're doing. When they put you on these NDAs and they tell you, we're the only ones who can approve what you say and do. Which is why too, when you see with season 6, how they've steered these people, like season 5 was hell on earth for that production company, even though they brought it on themselves. So do you see how they're doing with the season 6 cast? How they've been steering them and letting them know, okay, you go here, you go there. This person can do these podcasts. That person can do that. You don't hear anybody really talking about their personal experiences from a filming standpoint until Clay. And we're going to talk about that interview. But the arbitration clause is there to discourage you from suing because they know most of these people cannot afford to go to court, especially after going through arbitration. And arbitration, they can easily outspend you right there and stop you in your tracks. Okay? So for Renee and her lawyers, I think it was a bold move for them to sue. And I think they really thought they had this in the bag, especially with the other lawsuit pending. But if you've noticed, have you heard that other girl talk about her experience? Have you seen her on any podcast? She hasn't said anything. She hasn't done no interviews, no nothing. No interviews, no nothing. Now, we haven't seen any news come from it. From all I know, they're probably trying to settle it, secretively. But Love is Blind, the show themselves, another thing about arbitration, it's not public. Arbitration is never public record. So there's no telling how they're trying to settle things with Tran Dang and how they're going to try to settle things with Renee. They don't want the public to have that information. They're trying to keep their names clean as possible, even though viewers like me are out here talking about it. And y'all on TikTok are doing a good job at covering it too. But all of this is to scare Renee from filing a lawsuit. That's all this is to scare her and stop her dead in her tracks. And so I'm interested to seeing what's gonna be next. I have Renee's information, and I'm definitely gonna hit her up to see, how she's doing, just to send her some well wishes. But it's an L, but it's not really an L. It's an L, but it's not really an L, if that makes sense. All right. So now that we've cleared that up, let's talk about this interview with Clay, because baby, this is crazy. Clay sat down with Lateris for the Dear Wifey podcast. Shout out to Lateris. Lateris, if you see this, what's up? So he sat down with Lateris to talk about his experience on the show, right? Here's what, I'm going to start, playing different clips for you guys, but here's what I didn't like about this interview, or I'll say what I think the mark that Lateris missed, and I think Clay helped him miss that. But the premise of the show, right, is to find love, to settle down, and to get married. That's why the wedding is at the end, right? Now, does everybody get married that goes on Love is Blind? No. First season, everybody didn't get married. But us as the viewers who have been watching the show from the beginning have seen a drastic change between the people who first would get on the show and the people who get on there now. It's very, very clear that the people who go on there now are not looking for love. They're not looking for marriage. And Clay displayed the characteristics of somebody who was not really looking for marriage on this show. It was clear. It was clear. And so for everybody who was like, dang, like he did play in her face, it is because he could have spared her. Point blank, period. They didn't have to go all the way to the altar. It was clear Clay didn't want to be there. We didn't get no footage of their home life, okay? We didn't get so much from them. The only things we would get from them is conversations where he would talk about being scared to cheat, okay? So we didn't get anything from them. It was clear he didn't want to do that. It's also clear that other people were dropping out in the process. So he could have done the same. And so could have AD too. Still going to hold her accountable. She could have dropped out as well. But remember what I told y'all a couple weeks ago when I told y'all that a little birdie told me that Clay and AD were given incentives to stay. Remember, I told you guys, I was told that they were running out of black couples. There were no more black couples, or they were the last two black people there. And so they offered to give AD more money. And she told Clay, and Clay decided to do it for her. And I told you guys, I don't think that that's really what happened. I really think the incentive was given to Clay, not AD. I feel like this interview proved everything I said. This interview, in my opinion, proves that the information I got about the fact that Clay was given some incentive, well, they told me it was AD, but I believe that they had it wrong, that it was Clay that got some incentive to stay on the show. This interview proves that. Let's get to it. Remember when I said, and I said this time and time again, that Clay was not coming home to this girl? I want you guys to listen to this.
People question, why did you allow her to get all the way to that point? Mm-hmm. And that she said, played in her effing face, but thinking that you already knew that you wasn't going to say yes and break her heart right there at the altar. Yeah. Is that true? Did you know beforehand that you was going to say no?
No, I mean, you going through, so kind of giving a little context, we had the bachelor party.
Yep.
And then we had a week left. We had a week later where the wedding was going to happen. I think the wedding was actually on a Friday. The bachelor party that we had was actually on that Sunday. give context what was going on, I had a work trip. So on that Monday, I had to go out to Raleigh, North Carolina, and pretty much try to close a deal. Then I had to go to Dallas, try to close another deal. We took off 3 weeks. I'm in corporate sales. I had to close these deals because if I didn't, the next quarter I would have been on a performance plan. So what that means in sales, put on a performance plan, that means it's going to be a lot of eyes on you. Got to close this deal.
And if you don't, you get fired. I've been in sales. Yep. I've been in sales all my life when I was working corporate America.
Yep. So I had to close $1.6 million. And, just to fast forward, I ended up closing 2.2 that quarter.
Congratulations.
So I appreciate it.
So that bonus check looked good.
The bonus check was good. It was nice. But, you're going through a lot. So, with the bachelor scene and the wedding scene, I actually went out to go meet a client. So, I'm kind of facing a lot of pressures throughout this whole experiment because, I'm doing my 9 to 5. I'm also doing my side business. So in terms of my thought process of actually like yes or no, it was a lot going on where I would say I probably didn't do the best job of like honestly really thinking about the situation and like what I was into. Me and AD actually had a great relationship the last 2 weeks of our relationship. We put a lot of stuff aside. We felt like I wanted to tell AD like, hey, I wanted to get away from me feeling like this is a little bit fake with the TV. I want to get more into a realistic partnership. Let's get away from the townhouse that Netflix and Love is Blind is trying to put us in because that's an hour away from the things I have to do in my livelihood. Let's actually move into my house where you would be at if we do get married. Let's be realistic with it. Once I feel like we kind of got into more of a realistic dating pattern because the show does take you, to me, it's just not, the show gives you a lot of, conflict to see if like, hey, you're going to go through a lot when you're in the outside world to see like, hey, is your love really, does it waver? I think me and AD really did a good job of like combating against conflict. So a big reason why I went all the way to the altar because our relationship was going so well the last 2 weeks. I felt like we really were getting to a point where it's like I could see her as my wife. And it just so happened when I got to the altar, I probably should have done a better job of just like critically analyzing the situation. And I got to the altar and I was just battling like, okay, I love AD. This is the girl I want to be with, but like, is this really giving marriage or is it just giving, I love this girl, we should be in a relationship?
Yeah. So first things first, yes, other people were on the show and they jumped ship before that, but that's the whole point, Lateris, is that they did not take their fiancés all the way to the altar to embarrass them. Everybody else dropped out but Clay, right? But I want you guys to go back to the clip I just played, right? So, number one, he says, I didn't know I was going to say no, right? How did you not know that you were going to say no? You weren't even going home to the girl. You weren't coming home to the girl. When you guys got back from the experience, remember in the Angela Yee interview that he did, he said AD dedicated herself to the process. He didn't. When you got back, you wouldn't move into the townhouse that they got for y'all because you didn't want to drive an extra hour, right? You weren't coming home to her, which is why we don't have much footage of them together having home life. You didn't want to film. You told the girl, let's get away from filming. This is what he just said. Let's get away from filming. So if you're getting away from filming, then that means that you're not going through the process. Even though I'm not a fan of everything about the show, they obviously told you this was a 6-week process. This is the layout. When you sign up, you need to be available to do all of this. You didn't want to participate in the process. So there's no way I'm listening to this and believing that you had no idea that you were going to say no. You didn't spend any time with her. So of course, when you got to the altar, it wasn't giving. Remember I told y'all his verbiage too. I don't know. Of course it wasn't giving marriage. You didn't spend any time with her. You didn't do the process. Mind you too, when he says, oh, but we had a great relationship the last 2 weeks. So then why didn't you say no if it was so great? Where's the footage? Where's the footage? We have no footage of y'all. You just admitted it. You said it twice. You said it in the Angela Lee interview, and now in detail, you're saying it. You were leaving. You were going out of town. You were going out of town. And as he's talking to, I'm like, this sounds like a man who didn't even communicate to his job that he was doing this show. Because he was going out of town. How are you going out of town for days on end? Then when you come in, you're not coming near the townhouse because it's an hour drive away. So when are you spending time to her? When are you spending time with AD for you guys to actually have the experience? Okay? You're not going to make me believe that you wanted AD to move in with you. How are you saying this process is unrealistic, but then you turn around and say, well, I told AD, come to my house, come move to my house. We don't have to film. That makes no sense. If you're somebody who signed up for a 6-week process, right? And you're doubting that 6-week process, you're saying it's not realistic. I'm not going to believe you for a minute when you say that you told this girl she could move in with you. Absolutely not. Am I crazy here? It doesn't make sense. That doesn't track. Okay? So cut the shit. You can play in AD's face, Clay. You can play in AD's face. You can play in Laterris's face, but you cannot play in mine during Black Ramadan, Black Women's Month. Okay? Let's cut the shit, period. Let's go to the part of this interview where Clay talks about the interview process. When I tell you my jaw dropped, not because I was surprised, but because I know Love is Blind people finna send this man a nice cease and desist letter. Like, Clay is going to receive a very nice cease and desist letter. Like, a very nice, you violated your NDA with this one. Because the shit that he revealed is insane, and it reminds me of the clip that I used in my Chelsea video. If you've seen my video where I talk about AD versus Clay, and I talk about my spat with Chelsea and how I brought up the interview from a TikTok from this Asian guy who didn't make it on the show, but he was saying how when they were interviewing him, he told them, I'm not interested in getting married. And they're like, okay, cool, we still want you on the show. Clay is giving the same story. And I remember thinking to myself, maybe this was Clay during this process. And then here he is revealing that. Let's listen.
Even in the interview process, what did you tell the producers at Netflix or, Kinetic or whatnot, when you were talking to them? What did you say to them your goal was in the show?
Well, they recruit you off Instagram. So, it's not like you apply to go on Love is Blind. Like, they are pretty much have scouts, and they find you, and you have conversation with them. So, they ask you questions like, hey, how do you feel about this concept? And I was pretty transparent, like, it's a unique concept, but I don't know if that's going to work for me because I'm a physical guy. Yep. I think I was very transparent on, like, hey, my dating style, I've always kind of leaned towards the physical. And I think for them, I was open to doing the experiment and going about a different way. So I think that that's all they really kind of needed to see. Like, it wasn't a matter of me, like, convincing them, like, oh, I'm so ready to be married right now. Like, I definitely wasn't doing that. I was kind of like, what the heck are y'all talking about?
Like, we could try it.
We could try it. I was kind of going with the flow.
It was not given, I want to get married. It was given, I'm just going with the flow. Like, okay, it's a cool concept, but it was never given, I want to get married. Clay literally just said he was asked to go on the show. He made it very clear he wasn't excited about getting married. He wasn't telling them that he wanted to get married. And they still put him on the show to waste AD's time. Okay? So who's the villain here? I want to ask y'all that. Who's the villain? Who's the villain? Let's continue.
To me, it wasn't like the end-all be-all type of thing, and I felt like my energy wasn't giving off like desperate at all. So like I was actually shocked that I even kept going to the next stage, because I was doing their call, then jumping on a client call, and then I'm like, okay, done with that, interview. Let me go to the next.
So you really didn't care whether or not you got on the show or not?
I try to get out of it,
At what point?
Well, when they told me I was officially a cast member.
You done tricked them all the way to the point where they said.
Well, I didn't. But I got cold feet.
So you really didn't care whether or not you got on the show or not.
I try to get out of it.
At what point?
Well, when they told me I was officially a cast member.
Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. This is so good. Clay tried to get out of being on the show. When did you try to get out of it? When they told me I was a cast member. I couldn't believe they kept me through the process because I kept telling them I didn't want to get married. Wasn't taking it serious. Was taking my client calls, going to work. Didn't give a fuck about this. And when they made him a cast member, he tried to get out of it. So again, all of us who clocked the fact that he didn't really want to be there, we were right. We were right. Okay? And when I told y'all this man was given an incentive to be on the show, I was correct. Y'all gonna learn to listen to me. Y'all is gonna learn to listen to me when I talk to y'all. Okay? One thing about it, I don't always get it right, but I get it right. Don't let that go over your heads. I don't always get it right, but I get it right. Hey! Mde di nou sa, mde fout di nou sa. Nap apren koute, mle m'pala ave nou. Mde fout di nou sa. Let's continue.
You done tricked them all the way to the point where they said.
Well, I didn't. But I got cold feet because I was just like, oh damn, they really want me. They want me to take off 3 weeks. So the biggest issue was me taking off 3 weeks for work.
Oh yeah, that'd be hard.
You gotta give up your phone. You gotta give up your laptop. And like I said, I'm an enterprise sales, so I have 12 clients, and I'm their face to the company. So like me taking off 3 weeks. I didn't really see how I could be able to do that, and I didn't really, they telling you the whole time through the process, like, hey, you're not officially a cast member, so I ain't telling my manager, you know what I'm saying? So a week and a half before we got to leave out, I'm like, hey, I got 3 weeks.
Hey, mwen pa kompran, hey, the Love is Blind people tell Clay you are a cast member. Clay pa jam di manager sa. He's never talked to his manager to tell his manager he was in the process to be on Love is Blind. Kunya, le moun yo vini yo di, hey, you are a cast member. Kunya li pare de manager di, I need 3 weeks off. No wonder why when they came back from the honeymoon, that motherfucker was gone. He never took the process serious. He never took this shit serious. You know what he took serious? His job, though. Trabajo. Ahora. He took that shit serious. But this man never had no intentions to get married. So the whole, I love AD. No, you don't. You didn't love that girl, okay? You didn't love that girl. You didn't give a fuck about this process. This shit was a joke to you, which is why you're laughing about it on this podcast. And baby, and let me tell you something. The Love is Blind people are gonna send you a nice little cease and desist. You ain't gonna say it publicly, but I'm gonna let the public know. I know they done sent you one. Cause your dumb ass is really spilling all this tea. As if you ain't got an NDA. Let's continue. This shit is good. This is some good ass shit. You know what I want to say? Shout out to Clay and AD. Y'all gave me some good ass content. My YouTube check gonna be real nice this month. I ain't gonna hold you. Baby, the way I'm gonna pay my mortgage for the next 5 months off this check, period.
This little muddy water, so when I told him, I don't think I could do it, I was kind of like, all right, cool, got that. I'm glad I got that over with. Then they called me back like, Clay, how can we make this work? We really want you on the show. And I'm just like, damn, all right, well, I did make this commitment, so you know.
Y'all gonna learn to listen to me. How do we make this work? We really want you on the show. He was given something. And I don't even think it was like a whole lot of more money or anything like that. I think he was given some type of incentive. I think somebody was in his ear making some type of promise. Like, hey, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. This man received some type of incentive to do this show because he kept telling him he didn't want to do it. But he still ended up doing it. This is good.
And also, too, I talked to my mom. I talked to a couple of friends. I'm a component. I think that sometimes even if you don't want to do it, but it's organically happening, it's meant for me to be there, you know? And I just felt like it was just too, not easy, but like the path was just like laid out for me to be on Love is Blind. Like,
yeah. The path was laid out easy for you because they wanted you to be a villain. And I can say that as somebody who did Love and Hip Hop. When I tell you my journey to getting on that show was lovely. Lovely. Then as soon as filming started and shit was going left, the people I could call on, I couldn't call on them. Couldn't call on them no more. I've given y'all the story time and time again. It's a scheme that Ty set up. You were their villain. Point blank period. And it was so easy for them to make you a villain because you didn't take this process serious. You didn't give a fuck. You heard marriage. I don't know how somebody hears marriage and doesn't take that seriously. Okay? It's crazy. Now remember earlier he was saying that, he didn't know that he was going to say no at the altar. In this same interview, he says this.
Over 10 days. And then honestly, I fell in love with AD. Like, I would say I did the experiment right. Like, you know, in terms of it, like, was I thinking I was going to get married? No, but I did the process right. I actually leaned into it.
Was I thinking I was going to get married? No. He said it. He said it. And you know what's so funny? Like, I'm reading the comments and people are like, oh, he's so transparent. Y'all don't listen to when people talk. Y'all really just hear stuff. What I'm learning is a lot of people don't listen when you speak. They just hear you speaking. They're not actively listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth. This man said, did I think I was going to get married? No. Did I think I was going to get married? No. But in the same interview, it was like, but I didn't know I was going to say no at the altar. In the same interview says, I didn't even want to be on the show. I tried to get off the show. Whoosh. This takes me to that clip that they played at reunion, right? Where they were trying to burn Sarah Ann at the stake. Oh, you made that TikTok where you said this is all for entertainment. So why did y'all cast Clay? Clay told you in the interview process that he didn't want to be married. He told you that. So why did y'all cast him? Entertainment. Entertainment. Y'all are making a show, which is cool. I'm still finna watch. But don't try to gaslight the audience, baby. We not stupid, okay? Make y'all show. Make your show, make it entertaining. Make sure you put in people on there who are safe so people are not getting violated or getting physically attacked. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Do y'all little show. Do y'all thug thizzle. Do y'all thing. Don't gaslight the public, though. We ain't stupid. We see what the fuck this is. It's for entertainment.
This is a reality television. It is meant to entertain you. And I think that's exactly what we're doing. We didn't miss with this one, baby. We didn't miss.
Because why the hell would you cast Clay, who clearly told y'all he didn't want to be on the show? Clearly told y'all he didn't want to get married. Why would you cast him? Oh, okay. In this interview, Clay also says that, you know, God told him he wasn't ready for marriage. Baby, I really want us to stop using God's name for stupid shit. Sorry, Lord. But it's like, you didn't need God to tell you that. You knew you didn't want to get married. You knew you didn't even want to be in the process. So that's not a God thing. You knew you were going to say no. Okay? This entire process, you talked about your dad taking you to cheating trips. And then he also said that, Netflix edited him really wrong. Here's the thing. I've done reality television. I know editing could be crazy. Like, it can be very, very crazy. I've talked about my experiences with editing, and I've talked about how, when I was on Love and Hip Hop, I hosted the BET Hip Hop Awards green carpet that year. They wouldn't show that. They didn't want to show me having a career. I already had a career before I went on Love and Hip Hop. They didn't want to show that. I filmed scenes with my siblings. Didn't show that. They were looking for me and my mom to fight. Like, they wanted me to like blame my mom for what happened to me with me being sexually assaulted. They wanted that. I wouldn't give it to them. You know what I mean? So I get it. Like, the editing can be really crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I threw a bottle on the show. A lot of shit happened that led to that. They didn't show it. Mind you, when you go back and you watch it, I was hit first. I was going off on everybody in that room. But of course, they made it out to be just me focusing on one person. You know what I mean? But the difference between that show and this show is the whole premise of this show is for you to get married. And Clay said it in the interview process. He didn't want to get married. You said it to AD several times. You didn't see yourself getting married. All you saw yourself was cheating. Because your daddy cheated on your mama 30 years ago, and he spent 24 years cheating on your mama. He even took you on cheating trips. You could have ended this. I think somebody was in his ear, but you could have ended it. Other people in the process were ending it. You weren't even filming with her that much. You could have ended it. And no, instead of doing that, you went to the altar. It's kind of the reason why a lot of women especially are upset about that. It's a reflection of just our relationships with men, period. Not just black men, but a lot of us, right? We get involved with these men, and these men do one thing and say the other. A man will do all the relationship things with you, but then turn around and be like, oh, I ain't no in a relationship. Y'all fucking raw, like you giving me raw dick. You know what I'm saying? You living in my house with me. You paying the bills. We vacationing with my parents, your parent. But I ain't no in a relationship. I ain't never say you my girlfriend. Men will be doing all that serious shit, all the relationship stuff with you. And then look at you crazy when you hold them accountable for not doing the things they're supposed to do in the relationship. It's the same thing here. You made a commitment to the process, knowing you didn't want to do this, and then went all the way to the altar. A lot of men do this in relationships with women. This is why people are fired up, because we're seeing this on television and it's triggering us all because we experience this all the time. A man just saying a bunch of nothing when you want to hold him accountable for shit. So all that crying that you did at the reunion, it was bullshit. We already know AD was down there talking to the catfish lady. Shout out to Cammie Crawford, but I call her the catfish lady because I think it's funny. She was talking to the catfish lady on her podcast, and AD said y'all hadn't seen each other in months. Y'all hadn't spoken in months. You had never told her she was the love of your life. But when you got on that stage, you said it. You're the love of my life. I want to make things work. Knowing damn well you didn't want to do that. Knowing damn well you spent a year not doing anything but being flirty friends. When you see each other out in public, we're flirty friends. You can play in AD's face. You can't play in mine. Period.
Oh, that's what people, where there's some truth in what you feel like they felt that you were giving off.
Well, I mean, I can only look at it from a viewer perspective. And even when I watched it from a viewer perspective, I think the way how Netflix edited me, you know, it was a lot of conversation about like, I'm going to cheat, you know, all this stuff. And me bringing up, hey, this is stuff that I'm fearful of. I think people should have saw it as like, oh, this guy isn't ready. AD run, you know, he's a red flag. And a lot of those conversations was edited a little bit differently. So I think that to give context clues, I just believe that, you know, Netflix was kind of setting me up for almost for me to say no, you know, the way how they edited me. And I would say a lot of those conversations wasn't happen like that. Like even when people was making jokes like, oh, Clay, you kept saying you're going to cheat. I wasn't even saying that. I was saying that have we built a foundation enough to know that this is something that's going to last for eternity? I don't want to cheat. What they did was they cut that first sentence off and just put the I don't want to cheat. So it just constantly just kind of just flow like that. And I felt as though that once they kind of knew the whole overall story, because I'm so transparent, it's very easy for you.
You gave him a lot to work with.
I gave him a lot to work with. So you can kind of put your storyline to everywhere you go.
I definitely empathize with him when he says, yeah, like he gave them a lot of information. He gave them a lot of material for them to work on, for them to focus on him saying, you know, I don't want to cheat. But two things, you said it a lot. Like, it's kind of like Clay is one of those people, it's like it was clear he had a script. It's like he was very scripted. This is the thing I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this every time we have this conversation. And so you said it a lot, so they were able to pull it a lot. And then, you know, it would be one thing if you only said it to AD, but literally in a scene where his dad comes into the groom suite, right? When his dad comes into the groom suite, his dad is talking to him, right? And in the B-roll, you have AD saying, yeah, I'm so glad my dad's here, but, you know, we never really had a close relationship like that. You know, my dad used to take me on cheating trips. You said it again and again and again and again. Like, and it's like you said it as an excuse for you not to be married with no regard, not only for AD, but for your mother and your father. Make no mistake about it, like what your father did was fucked up. But the public, we didn't need to know that. You could have easily just said, well, you know, my parents dealt with infidelity. My dad cheated on my mom. You could have just said that. But no, you said it over and over again. And then you talked about the cheating trips. Like, it's like, and you did that knowing your mother didn't know. Like the way you had no regard for your mother. His mom is in this interview too, and you know, she talks about it, and we're gonna get into that too. But she gave him a lot of grace. But you know what? Honestly, as I listen to her talk, I think she's an enabler. You have to be an enabler to be such a doormat for 24 years. Like, that's doormat behavior. It just is. Like, she talks about, you know, her marriage, and she says that her husband was a good man, but you know, he was cheating on you for most of your marriage. There comes a point where, okay, you are enabling this, okay? And then when you see her have so much grace for her son, like, not once does she say, you know, I think it was wrong for him to say it, like, but she goes in a roundabout way. She does say, like, damn, like, the whole world knows my business. Yeah, because your son, instead of your son being a grown-ass man and just telling AD, I don't want to be with you. I done told these people I don't want to be in this process. I don't know why the fuck I'm here. I don't want to do this anymore. Instead of just saying that, your son used your darkest, deepest secret that you didn't even know. And now it's content forever. Like, that is forever. That's not going away. And every time someone sees you, they're going to know you for the lady whose son was taken on cheating trips for 24 years. That's crazy. We do get Clay's mom. She does come on the podcast. And I really wanted to play this clip for y'all because I really feel bad for her. because, you know, she's doing this with such grace, but it's like the entire world knows a deep, dark secret that she didn't even know until she got on the show.
I'm doing well.
Listen, man, you have been thrusted in this position. You were just minding your own business, living a private life, and now people want to interview you on daytime talk shows and have you on podcasts and stuff like that. How does that feel about you being such a private person?
It feels good because I know that I'm doing a lot of good for a lot of people that need some healing based on a lot of DMs that I received. The other part of it is I do like my privacy, and I've always liked my privacy. I've been a private person. So now, excuse me, it's just now everyone knows, you know, my business. And sometimes it's a little embarrassing, but, you know, I got to take it with a grain of salt because this is the new.
So,
I don't know, man. I really feel bad for his mom. I really do. And again, she has a lot of grace for her son. And I get it. It's her son. But this is embarrassing. It's really embarrassing, like what he did. And I really just don't feel like his foot has been held through the fire for that. Like, I think what he did to his mother is 10 times worse than what he did to AD. I really do. AD's a beautiful girl. We all know she was with that club owner anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and even in this interview, she talks about some advice that she gave both of them, and neither of them took it. And we're going to get into that. But AD will recover, you know? This woman has to deal with the fact that the world knows the secret. And the world found out without her consent. Mind you, she talked about the fact that, like, she's not a Love is Blind member. She was not a Love is Blind cast member. She was there to support her son. They didn't have to air that. Even the conversation she had with her husband, it's like, or her ex-husband, you know, it's just crazy. Y'all who go on reality television, be careful with your parents. Like, again, I'll tell you, when I did Love and Hip Hop and I saw what they wanted me to do with my mom, I was like, hell nah. Hell nah. That's why if you watch my season, my mom's in one scene only, and that is in church. And even that scene I had a problem with because my mom has an accent, but she knows how to speak very good English. They chopped up the way she spoke to make it seem like she was just learning English, like she couldn't speak clear English. My mother is an operating room nurse. My mom knows words that have 30 syllables, okay? And the way they chopped up her speech to make it, you know, because she's Haitian, it just felt so xenophobic to me too. It's like, listen, there are Haitians who speak like that. My mom doesn't. You don't have to edit her like that. You know what I'm saying? And so imagine if I would have gave them a scene where I'm arguing, I'm going back and forth with my mama. Hell nah. That was one thing they were never going to get out of me. You're not going to get my mom. You're not going to get my mom. Fuck you. You can make me look however you want. You can do whatever you want. But my mom? Hell no. And I really want y'all to have more honor with your parents when it comes to that. Like, I get it. You want to be on TV, but do your research. And don't be out there sharing shit that your parents don't know. And even if your parents do know, there's just certain shit you just shouldn't share. And he didn't have to go overboard with that.
Story is out there for everyone to put on their page, for them to, you know, rewind. Oh, everyone wants to be a detective. Everyone wants to be a doctor. Everyone wants to be an attorney. And it's stop. You know, he's received a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And
even to the tune of threats.
And
over his life.
And then it's just too much. And for me, my story is out there for everyone to put on their page, for them to, you know, rewind over and over again. And I wasn't part of
the cast.
they didn't cast me. I was supposed to just come as a support. And they got a freebie because that's just the way
you're
nature.
You're going to be authentic. You're going to show.
Yeah, I mean, your story's everywhere because your son, girl, y'all gave Netflix a hit. Like, y'all gave Love is Blind Netflix a hit. And you know what's crazy about it, too, is financially, it did nothing for you. You know, we don't know what it'll do in the future for Clay with his business. Are y'all getting the boat rentals? He's not really promoting that, which lets me know y'all ain't getting no boat rentals, okay? So financially, what did it do? Like, it's just like, y'all gotta be careful with y'all parents and these shows. Be careful with y'all parents and these shows. She touched on meeting AD, and I thought that this was very interesting.
When you met her, did you feel like that was your daughter-in-law?
I'm not going to say I felt automatically that was my daughter-in-law because if you know who I am, I don't give titles and accolades. I just don't.
You say, I see what I see.
No, yeah, I do. But my whole thing is that character means a lot to me. Okay. Accountability means a lot to me.
Clock it. Accountability. Clock that.
What do you say? And then what do I see based on that say? Is that actions matching that? So I didn't get to know her, for a long period of time. I met her for the first time at the restaurant. A lot of things wasn't aired from the restaurant. Okay. And I'm someone who will always come with some questions. And that's just how I'm a mom. And when I was married, someone gave me some questions. And they just both seemed like they were, struggling on some things. And I just said, what do you want? More importantly, what don't you want?
So what questions were left on the cutting floor?
I wanted to know, I told them both to go back and do some journal. Write down what you want versus what don't you want. And when you get to what you don't want, I think you both will have your answer.
Mind you, she goes on to say in the interview that neither one of them took that advice. AD didn't take it. Her son didn't take it. Neither one of them had that advice. Neither one of them took that advice. So then she goes on to say, had they listened, because then they touch on what AD said at the reunion, and his mom says respectfully, had she listened to my advice, she wouldn't have been at that altar. Clock it.
The reunion, I think she said, I don't want to be, his mom. And that's why you're not. Because he had to be on this healing journey for him. And this is his way of doing it new. God has given him a do-over, a do-new. And he's on the right path.
When you heard her say that, did you think that was offensive?
So when I first heard it, I was kind of locked in with trying to maintain my composure because also too, I knew that the cameras are on and, they were trying to get my facial expression, especially when it kind of brought around the mat thing. So I was more so locked in with more so holding my composure and not coming off essentially like an angry black man.
Yeah.
So, I looked a little uncomfortable in a situation, but more so I was just trying to make sure that I just looked even killed. But, when I look back, I was actually with my mom when we watched the reunion, when everybody else watched it. That was the first time I really acknowledged and heard it. Because even when she said it, it was almost like I felt like I said my apology and I felt like I had a big whoof for me. So, when I was listening to her, I was more so trying to hear her out and not that I didn't want to combat it.
Oh my God, get to the point.
Back,
Damn.
And I don't think she meant it at an ill will intention, honestly, but it's just the fact that she's been around my mom so much. It's you could have that conversation you could have had maybe to me privately. Don't say that in front of my mom because it's already embarrassing enough that, what I even exposed out there. But then it's you just throwing it out there almost you know, being married for 23 years is not something to, you know, celebrate. You know, at the end of the day, it is. And, you know, just saying that, hey, I don't want to be like your mom, I don't want to be divorced. Like, I get that. You don't want to, nobody wants to have divorce, but I think the way we're going about it, you know, you wouldn't get there as well. Like, you just want to rush into a marriage and then say, oh, I don't want to be like your mom. But, like, my mom had 23 years.
Yeah. Basically, in that clip, you know, it starts off with his mom saying, listen, like, she wasn't his mom because he said no. You know what I mean? Which is what I've said. When I saw her make that comment, it was like, girl, you said yes at the altar. He said no. So respectfully, you're not his mother because he said no to you. But at the same time, it's just funny to hear AD now say, oh, but to be married for 23 years, that's something to be celebrated. But in the show, it was AD's mother who told him that. Because remember, all he kept saying was they was married for 23 years, but all my daddy was cheat, all my dad was cheat, all my dad was cheat. And her mother was the one that said, but you need to look at it positively. They were married for 23 years. That's a long time to be married. That's an accomplishment. Anyway, y'all, I mean, if you have time on your hands, this interview is 2.5 hours long. It's a very long interview. But in the end, I still look at Clay the same way. I still think Clay did this process knowing he didn't want to do it, which makes him an ain't shit nigga to me. Like, you're just like so many other dudes who get into relationships and do all the relationship things knowing that that's not what they want. And so you're wasting someone's time. But then also I look at Love is Blind. And again, Chelsea and them, when y'all are casting and someone tells you they don't want to be married, why are you putting them on a show where marriage is the goal? Why? Because this is all entertainment, baby. We didn't miss with this one. Sarah Ann ate that. Sarah Ann ate that.
This is a reality television. It is meant to entertain you. And I think that's exactly what we're doing. We didn't miss with this one, baby. We didn't miss.
All right, y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Drop down in the comments. Leave me a comment. Like, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video, y'all. It is 11:48 p.m. I ain't even get to record my Diddy stuff. I'm going to just do that tomorrow. And maybe I'll give y'all a 2-for-1 in one day. Who knows? But anyway, y'all. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.
All these diamonds on my body and they crystal clear. I make magic with these hundreds, watch them disappear. Big ol' raindrops up in my ear. If you gon' name drop, let's get it clear. Jessie.